Well, good morning, beautiful people. It's your girl Bev on another Saturday morning live on the Flower Bev Show. Thank you all for joining me so far. For those that are here, good morning, everyone. I see Sister Esther and Sister Nikwa. How y'all doing this morning? I'm running a little late this morning. Please forgive me. I was waiting on an alarm that did not exist. But I'm back today. To all those that are here for the first time, I was want to say welcome to the Fly with Bev show, where we try to have a butterfly mentality in a world full of caterpillar struggles. So that is the reason for my show, because there's so much negativity in this world today. So I want to spread a little sunshine from a sunflower to you all, or butterfly. Either way, it's still me, right? So also to all those that are back, thank you for joining me again, because I really do appreciate you, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the playback. Either way, I'm still satisfied. I'm still happy that you decided to check out the show one more time. It's been, a wonderful, weird, struggling week for me, but it's been a really, really good one. I hope everyone greetings, sis. Chris, how are you? I hope everyone has realized that they survived another week and are here for the weekend as well. So basically the recap of last week, we were talking about our morning routines. We're talking about what we do in the mornings to get ourselves started, to get ourselves prepared for another day. And I think that's such an important thing, to basically make sure that you have a morning routine to get started, something to get you pumped and ready to go throughout the week, throughout the day, because life can be hard. So it's really good to have, you know, uh, something set in stone to be able to get yourself going for the day. Greetings, brother Andre. Um, all the way from DC. I think you're in DC. Sorry if I'm putting your business out there. Oops. Uh, let's see. Also, we also talked about how to handle negative moments, basically how you think, how you do certain things. What do you do for yourself whenever you're having a bad day or whenever you're going through a rough time? What do you tell yourself? So, if you get a chance, go back and look. Thanks, Brother Dre. Go back and look at the last video. It is posted on my YouTube channel as well as my Facebook page. If you are friends with me on Facebook, you can more than welcome look at it. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, my name is Bev Harris on Facebook. And then my YouTube channel is Fly with Bev. So either way, you can go to whichever page. If you're here for my YouTube, you can go to my Facebook and watch it as well, or vice versa, whichever one you choose. So this week, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I wanted to talk about friend versus enemy. And I know when people think friend versus enemy, they always think people. They always think, okay, what are my situations, with an individual? So let's go ahead and get down to it. So basically, when I think friend versus enemy, you're trying to figure out whether that person is good for you or whether that person is bad for you. Good morning, Sister Marie. So you're trying to figure out whether that's a plus or a minus in your life, right? Whether you add them to your life or whether you subtract them. So I really want you all to participate. I really want you all to, put some answers in the comments, because I want this to be as interactive. If you're here for the first time again, last time we had a blast. We had a ball. We was going in on morning routines and how to encourage ourselves throughout our morning, throughout our day, throughout our bad days. So let's go ahead and get started again. First things first, what is a friend? What do you consider a friend? Like, what do you consider a friend? I'm going to start by saying I consider someone to be a friend when they have my best interest at heart, when, their intentions are well for me, they just want to see me do good. They are someone that I can trust. I can trust with, maybe even confide in, like you can confide in them. You can tell them, things that you're dealing with and you're not expecting any judgment. They have your back when you're not around. You're not looking for them to be tearing you down behind closed doors. They lift you up whether you're there or whether you're not. Those are the things that I consider, some of the things that I consider to be a friend. But I want to know, what do you all consider to be a friend? Take the time, take a few seconds to think about it, and and just let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Give y'all a few seconds to type in. I see I got 6 people on here, so I know y'all have something to say this morning. Good morning to those that have just joined. Okay, someone who adds value to your life by encouraging you to be the best version of yourself. A mutual thing, of course, goes both ways. Okay, Sister Niqua, I like that. Got your back, no questions asked. Okay, I'm about to call you Erica. Esther, I'm sorry, girl. I guess I'm still asleep. I probably look like it too. Okay, let's see. What else? What else? Anybody right now? We're talking about what a friend is. What do you consider to be a friend? What do you consider to be a friend? Anybody else? What about someone that, if you had to if they're in a bad situation, or if you're in a bad situation, basically you're in a bad situation, they're the person Oh, thank you. I look awake and beautiful. Thank you. I feel like 85% awake, but thank you so much. You're in a bad situation and that friend knows it. And instead of them being silent about it, they basically let you know, like, hey, you're in, and they know that you could possibly get mad about this. You could possibly get mad about the fact that they're calling you out about something. Um, but at the same time, they choose to say, look, you're in this situation and you need to get out. I don't know where your mind is or where your heart is, but let's just work on you getting out of this situation because you're my friend and I don't want to see you go down this route. Right. So basically, to me, that's another thing that describes what a friend is. Someone that's truly like, they have your best interest at heart. They don't want to see you go down a path that is self-destructing. They don't want to see you go down a path that really doesn't fit you well. For those that have just joined, we're talking about what a true friend is. So let's talk about it. Basically, they don't want to see you in a situation where you're not happy. Think about all the people throughout your life. And I know when I was working, there was this woman that I was working with, this coworker that I was working with, and she was in a very abusive relationship. And she was scared for her life and the life of her children. So me and my coworker, one of my other coworkers, we got together and we helped her escape. We helped her escape. I'm not putting myself out there to say that I'm some grand hero, but I looked at her and saw myself and was like, what would I want in a situation like that? I would want someone to rescue me. And you can tell she wanted to get out of the situation. And sometimes that person doesn't want to get out of the situation. They don't want to get out of the situation, so they're going to stay in it. And there's nothing you can do about it. But at the end of the day, a friend is someone who goes above and beyond to aid you when you need it, even when you don't even want the help. And then if you keep refusing to help, then that's up to them to walk away. So those are some things that I see makes a good friend. So let's switch it up. We know what a friend is. We know what we know to be a friend. We try our best to be a friend. So what is an enemy? Can I get some answers on that? Somebody out there? Can we get some answers on what an enemy is? And while you're thinking about that, an enemy is someone that wants to see you fail. Oh, hi, Mama Alicia. A friend is someone who will be honest with you, even though it hurts. Yes, absolutely. Even when it hurts, that's what a friend would do. They know it's going to hurt your feelings, but they're going to do it anyway. Anyway, right? Um, let's see. Now we're going to talk about what an enemy is. An enemy is someone, like I said, that doesn't want to see you do. They want to see you fail. An enemy is someone that when you fall, they rejoice. An enemy is someone that will take the time out to try to destroy you. An enemy is someone that when they see how bright your light is, they will do everything in their power to dim that light. That's what I see an enemy as. What do you all see an enemy as? Let's talk about that. If I can get maybe one response, I can deal with that. What is an enemy? Anybody? I know it's early, you guys, but I thank y'all for sticking with me right now. Let's see. Someone who causes war and continual conflict. So they bring conflict to your purpose sometimes. I am my enemy. I like that. We're getting somewhere because I have something to say for going forward. Honestly, like an enemy, you may not always know who your enemy is. You may not always know. So, how do you know when you've met an enemy? Because sometimes you can't tell because an enemy will disguise itself as a friend. And there are times when I know for a fact that an enemy will try to get closer to you. Basically, they'll try to get closer to you in order to push you away from those that are good for you. Sometimes that's what an enemy would do. They will make up whatever they have to make up to be able to get in a certain place, to be able to put themselves there and to take someone else out. That is also an enemy as well. I see an enemy as someone in the up and up by when, hold on, wait, in the up and up by when it's down. They're nowhere to be found. That's right, because friends are found when you're going through the most toughest times. I was going through a tough time last year, and I was going through a really tough time. And I also ended up realizing who was truly my friend and who wasn't. And it's sad to say that when you're in your lowest moments, those people that you thought would at least give you the benefit of the doubt, they don't give you the benefit of the doubt. They don't look at you as, well, maybe they didn't mean any harm by what they were saying, or maybe they didn't say it, or maybe somebody's just lying just to tear us apart. Maybe that's just what it is. Is that a snake, Brother Dre? I think that's a snake. Maybe, that person didn't, they made up all this stuff. So it's like, to me, it was shocking to like see, like, man, like people really, they love you when they love you. And when something comes about that makes them question that, then they like, never mind, let me back up, without even knowing any details. And I think that's really what shocked me, that people will be quick to gravitate towards they hear, whether it's and when it's negative, people are truly ready to believe that. To me, that's someone that really truly doesn't have my best interest at heart. Is if the first thing you hear, you're going to believe it without even questioning whether or not it's actually factual, whether or not the person that said it is really coming from a true place, or whether or not they're trying to destroy somebody else's character. And I think that's the thing with, friend versus enemy. Like, that's just how it is sometimes. When it comes down to a wolf in sheep's clothing, that's right. they looking like they're your friend. They're there when you're like telling about the things that you're going through. They're talking when you're talking about your struggles. They're like, yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But they're not giving you any of their information. And then as soon as things don't go well, they turn on you. So everything that you've confided in them, all of a sudden is gone. It's gone. It's, or should I say it's out there, not gone, but it's out there. Somebody else knows it now. Other people know it now because they've taken your personal information and they've put it out there, all because they no longer want to deal with you. So that's the next question. What do you do when a friend becomes an enemy? What do you do when a friend becomes an enemy? How do you handle that? What do you do in your mind? When I think about that, a friend becoming an enemy, it just depends upon what the situation was about. One thing about me, I do my best that when someone confides in me and we don't end up working out as friends, whatever they told me goes to the grave. Because I'm telling you, there have been situations where I chose not to be around someone anymore. And the way they did me is not the way that I did them. When I walked away from them, they basically put themselves in a predicament where it looked like I was the bad guy, or things were just happening in a way that was just really wrong. So my thing of the matter is, it was up to me. Oh yeah, you hurt, you cry about it, you go to God about it, you ask God to give you strength, but you don't do what they do to you. You basically say to yourself, I'm going to keep this because this person clearly didn't value me enough to keep anything that was stated on my end to them. So basically, that's, to me, the best way to go. You basically handle it in a way where it'll seem like y'all are still friends because you're still holding their information. You just don't deal with them as a person. So when someone goes from a friend to an enemy, that's what you do. But there are times when an enemy can go from an enemy to a friend. So somebody may say, well, how does an enemy go from an enemy to a friend? Well, think about it. Maybe that enemy was an enemy because of what someone else said about you. So at that moment, never let them know that they stepped into enemy territory with you. Constant praying and watching. Exactly. So you still treat them as if you're cordial to them, you're respectful to them, but at the same time, you don't treat them in the way that they treat you. But that don't mean that you have to allow them into your world either. But when an enemy becomes a friend, you do change up. Thanks, Brother Andre. You do change up with how you treat them. Sometimes it's scary because you're like, this person came to me and said, somebody told me something about you and I chose to believe that. But when I got to know you for myself, I realized that you weren't the person that they said you were. It was them. I had a coworker. I had a coworker that was really treating me. I mean, she was evil towards me, y'all. I mean, just terrible because oh, it's okay, Esther. Thank you. She was terrible towards me. She was rude. She was disrespectful. She was treating me in a way that wasn't kind. And it hurt so bad. And then when a new employee came in, she tried to pull them into that same realm. She tried to give them the same mindset that she had. So, of course, that person to me, I'm like, I didn't even front. I was just like, you know what? If she feels some type of way about me because of what somebody else said, that shows me what type of person she is. So when it all boiled down to it, do you know that the new employee and I became real tight and we still connected to this day? It's like she really saw, like, okay, well, this person was telling me this, that, and the third about you. But when it all boiled down to it, they were the nutcase. They were the person that needed to stay away. Hi. Oh my gosh. Hi, how are you? So basically, Adia, how you doing, girl? So basically, they ended up, being close with me and not that other individual. And you can see that that person had their own issues. But at the end of the day, that same person with those same issues ended up calling me and we had a conversation and there was no love lost and we cleaned everything up. So it's like sometimes enemies can become your friends and sometimes they can become your friends in a way that you never expected. They can become someone that you can lean on and you didn't even realize it. Yeah, sometimes people may say, well, you got to be careful because they were mad with you. They were upset with you, but at the same time, when you give somebody a chance, they have to prove themselves before you even give them the title friend. And a friendship is something that's both ways. So, hi, everybody that's joining right now. I'm talking about an enemy. I'm talking about, friend versus enemy. So basically, there are people that can be your friends and people that can be your enemies. Sometimes they can change, friends can change to an enemy, and sometimes the enemy can change to friends. So join in with me, talk to me, let me know. I know we're still doing certain things. Well, we're talking about it in the middle of it, but if you see fit to comment, please see fit to comment. I appreciate your eyes and your ears this morning. Hi, Erica. So basically, your enemies, your friends versus your enemies, right? Those are humans. Well, let's switch it up a little bit because I want to talk about how you can be a friend to yourself. How can you be a friend to yourself? What are some things that you can do that makes you a friend to your own self? Because I don't want this to be taken in a negative way. I want this to be looked at as how we compare it. Because we can call someone our friend, but at the same time, are we being a friend to ourselves? We're so quick to look out for everybody else to have our back, for everybody else to be there for us, for everybody else to give us motivation, support, encouragement. We hate being by ourselves. We feel like people need to have our back. Well, what about us? What are things that we can do? And you can put your comments in the comment section for me. What are things that we can do to show ourselves that we're a friend to ourselves? This is self-love. What do we do to show ourselves that we're really like there for ourselves? What do we do? Let me know in the comments, because some things that I know that I can do for myself to show myself that I'm loved, that I'm cared for by myself, is to take time out for me, to show myself like, hey, you know how it is. If you haven't heard from your friend in a long time, what you gonna do? You're gonna check on your friend. You're gonna say, hey, like, how you doing? Like, it's been a long time. I haven't heard nothing from you. You doing okay? And you want to know if that friend is doing well or not. So spending time by yourself is showing yourself that you're a friend to yourself. It's showing yourself that you're there for yourself. It's showing yourself that you value yourself, that you want to take the time out to rejuvenate yourself. You want to take the time out to reflect. You want to take the time out to meditate, to pray, to get those things in you that are going to benefit you. To me, those are some things that show you about how you care, should I say, show you how you care about yourself. So you're being a friend to yourself. So let me know, people, what do y'all think? What are some things that you think can show yourself that you're a friend to yourself? I'll give y'all a few seconds to comment. Now, look, don't come on here if you ain't going to plan on indulging and giving me feedback now. This is not a regular podcast. This is a radio. This is a podcast. This is a live where you can just be interactive. Be interactive. Tell me what you think can show yourself that you love yourself and that you're a friend to yourself. If not, we'll move on if y'all are shy. Do I have a lot of introverts on here this morning? No, I'm just kidding. I love introverts because I feel like they're like, some days I'd be wanting to like, oh my gosh, wish I was an introvert. I'm like, some days I just want to be quiet and nobody asks me what's wrong. Being patient with yourself, self growth. Thank you, Naomi. I appreciate that. Being patient with yourself, self growth, basically. Yes, that's a one way. Let me see. Be honest with me. It's okay, Ashley. I love you, girl. My sister. Be honest with me. Pray for myself. Remind myself of the good that's in me. Encourage myself to keep going. Good. Because these are things that you would do with your friends, right? You should be patient with your friends. If you see that your friends are lying to themselves and beating themselves up, like you're gonna tell them, like, hey, look, let's tell the truth about the matter. Like let's hi Wanda. So basically, Ashley, let me give you the what we're talking about today is we were talking about friend versus enemy. So basically, sometimes you can have a friend that becomes an enemy. You can have an enemy that becomes a friend. That's where we started. But now I've changed it around to ourselves. What are some ways that we can be a friend to ourselves, that we show ourselves that same love that we would show a friend, that same, you know, basically embrace that we would show a friend? How do we do that for ourselves? So Staniqua said again, she said, be honest with me, pray for myself, remind myself of the good that's within me, encourage myself to keep going. Wanda, let's see. When you are honest with yourself and you recognize things that you need to work on to better yourself. All right, Erica, I like that too. Self care, self love, encouraging yourself. Be brutally honest with self. That's right. Admitting those things that you really don't want to admit, Brother Andre. Forgive myself when I mess up. OMG. Give myself chances. That right there is something that I have struggled with because, you don't, if you're not told that messing up is okay, sometimes you have to be told certain things because if you figure it out on your own, man, you're going to go through some grief that you don't even have to go through. But when you mess up, you're basically saying that you're imperfect, just like everybody else. So basically, you have to forgive yourself for messing up and know that you're not perfect and you got to keep going. Give yourself chances. Stop doubting yourself. That's right, Adia. Stop doubting yourself. Believe in yourself, knowing that you can do it. How many pep talks do we give our friends? When they're coming to us saying, I don't really know if I can do that. And you tell them, like, yes, you can. I know what you got in you. Okay, well, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the exact same thing. You can do this. You got this. Like, don't doubt yourself, right? Taking a break from all your hard work and treating yourself. That's right, Trent. That's the same thing. You really got to treat yourself. You really got to say, okay, you know what? I've been doing all this hard work. What they say, all work and no play makes somebody a angry person. I don't know what that is referring to, but let me just be careful about that. But if you're working all the time and you never take time for yourself to say, hey, I'm going to go get me something that I've been wanting for a long time, whether that's ice cream, whether that's go to the movies, whether that's go to a spa day, whatever that is, taking a break, doing those things, that's important. Ashley says, taking yourself out to the movies, reward myself for my accomplishments and take the same advice I give them. Basically, take the same advice I give them. Basically, your friends, right? The things that you give your friends, the same advice you give your friends is the advice you need to take for yourself. And sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes we treat people better than we treat ourselves. And is that truly like the right thing to do? Because if we're supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves, then how are we going to do that if we're constantly dissing ourselves, but at the same time we're lifting up everybody else? I'm definitely guilty of that. Also acknowledging my wrong and my right. So basically being honest with myself. Exactly. Being honest with yourself, not lying to yourself. That's a way to like truly like bury yourself under everything that's going on. You have to show that same inspiration, that same motivation, that same honesty, that same everything you would show to a friend is what you need to show to yourself. That's how you be a friend to yourself. That's how you care for yourself. That's how you let yourself know, like, hey, I see you, I love you, and I'm taking good care of you to the best of my ability. Don't get me wrong. We don't get it right all the time. I know I don't. I don't always get it right. There are times when I will push myself for other people all day long. I will drop everything and run for everybody else. I will do that. But for me, I don't always do that. I don't always do that for myself. Um, what are some things? Oh, I wanted to add some things to that. Eating right. It's not just a, you know, physical thing where you take care, right? Taking care of your mental health, basically thinking right, getting your thoughts right, rising above the way you feel by trying to be positive with what, everybody? Butterfly mentality. I love that. I'm sorry. Kobe Bryant had Mamba mentality. Bev has butterfly mentality because I believe in mental health. I believe in making sure that your mind is flying above your caterpillar struggles, right? Exercising. Let's see, setting boundaries. That's another way to be a friend to yourself because sometimes you got to say no. I'm not good with saying no. I used to be really good at saying no, but it's like I don't say it as often as I should anymore. I say yes to everybody. How do I say yes to the dress? Well, I say yes to the mess sometimes. And I don't mean mess as in messy people. I mean mess as in stuff that I know I can be like no to, you know? Right. Butterfly mentality is an equal. Let's see. What else did I say on here? Hygiene. That's important. Hygiene is important on how to take care of yourself, on how to be a friend to yourself. Take a bath. Wash your face. Brush your teeth. Put on lotion. Why are you ashy? Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I've gotten better at saying no. That's good. That's really good. I think I have learned to say no, but I think the way I may say no might not be the best way to do it. Like, I think, if you don't want to talk to somebody, ignoring them is not the way to do it. I think communicating and saying, hey, I can't talk right now, but when I get a chance, I'm going to give you a ring. I think that's a whole lot better. That's a whole lot better than like ignoring somebody. Think about how people, okay, let's think about this. This is a generation now full of ghosting. People will ghost you in a heartbeat. Do you know how that feels? You're cool with somebody and you think you have a good relationship with this person. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're gone, ghosted. They don't want nothing to do with you. And you're trying to figure out what in the world just happened. So I feel like if you're going to set boundaries or if you're going to say no to someone, I think you need to verbalize that no and be like, hey, I can't do it. Or, hey, it's not the time for me to do it, or I'm not going to be able to do it this time, versus ignoring them. To me, that's the most hurtful thing for people. Increasing gratitude for the things you do have and have accomplished in life and not solely dwelling on the current or past bad. That's true. Because that's that butterfly mentality. You recognize what it is you're dealing with, but you don't dwell on it because you know you have so many other things in life that look better and prettier and more amazing than what you're currently experiencing. And when you look for those things to be even better in the future, then and only then can you really truly get yourself through those moments of the valley, those moments of the bottom, those moments of the caterpillar, where you're looking forward to those moments of being in the cocoon where you can really isolate yourself and you can work things out and you can take your time, but yet you're still looking forward to that butterfly when you're transitioning from the cocoon into being that butterfly. So when you come out flying again, you're like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was, because my mind, I was going through it, but my mind wasn't necessarily overtaken in it. So I was able to still think clearly and still think positively. Thinking positively, that's another part of, the way you think and things like that. I would say budgeting your money. To me, that's another way to be a good friend to yourself, because sometimes, if you're just spending, you're not spending correctly, you're not investing in anything, you're not saving anything. To me, that's not the best way to live. How would you expect to have anything? Or how do you expect to even go on trips or even do things that you want to do to treat yourself if you ain't got no money? Money is not everything, but money is something that you have to use in order to get certain things. And you cannot get everything free. Nothing is free, to be honest. You have to pay a price for something, for the most part, those things that are tangible. Let's see. What else? Let's figure out what self-hate. How do you be an enemy to yourself? What are some things that you do that make you become an enemy to yourself? I would say, if you know this, okay, let me say this. I've had situations where someone had wanted to be in my life and I had a really bad feeling about it. I kept telling myself, like, man, this ain't gonna be good. I don't think this is a good decision. And in that moment, I feel sorry for that person. So I still chose to invite them into my life. Well, guess what? It was a bad decision. And instead of me saying no, letting them know, well, you know what, I really can't, I can't do this, or I don't think this is going to be a good idea. Basically, I really put myself in a bad space and it really became something terrible. I freed myself from it now, but it took some bad experiences in that situation for me to free myself. And to me, that's not a good thing. I became an enemy to myself because I ignored that feeling that this was not going to be a good thing. Comparing yourself to others, definitely a sign of self-hate. Definitely a sign of things that make you become an enemy to yourself. Because think about it. If one of your friends came up to you and told you, you know, okay, I sing. I'm not saying I'm the best singer, but I sing. So if somebody came to me and said, Bev, you can sing, but that girl such and such, she sang better than you. It's like, excuse me? In your mind, you looking at her like, girl, if you don't get away from me, like it's not a competition. Like she has her gift, I have mine. So I'm allowed to still have my gift and she can have hers. Yes, she has a beautiful voice, but that doesn't mean that we have to compare. So why are you comparing yourself to someone else? Why are you doing that? Right? Because it's the same thing. It's a joy kill. Self-sabotage your success because of fear. Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I thought about doing something, but I was just like, I don't really know. Like I could have not done this podcast. I could have not done these lives. I could have been like, well, I don't really know. I'm afraid. What if nobody joins? And those fears come to your mind. But your love for what you do has to outweigh what you're afraid of. Like what I'm doing right now outweighs me being afraid of nobody joining. If two people was on here, I still had to go as if it was 1,000. So I still have to do this because when you're on a radio, there may not be nothing but 10 people listening to that radio station at that time, right? So they still have to talk on that radio show as if there are 25 million people listening to them. So that's the thing. You have to continue despite it. Good. Worrying what others think of you. Absolutely. You can think about, well, people may not like this, they may not like that, but at the end of the day, it's not about other people. It's about you. And that's where your confidence comes in. That's something that you have to be confident in yourself. You can't worry about what people think about you because what they think don't matter. At the end of the day, you need your own validation. And if you can't validate yourself, then you're wasting time thinking about anybody else. You're really going to kill every last little bit of joy, every last little bit of spark, and you're sabotaging yourself. You're sabotaging your own light. You're not even allowing nobody else to take it from you. You're taking it from yourself. And that to me is the worst part, when you take it from yourself, when you allow the thoughts of what other people think to take that from you. That is definitely like crippling to people all over the world. I've had moments when I've worried about what other people have thought, especially when I've messed up and made a fool out of myself, and people saw it. I had to talk to myself and say, Bev, listen, anybody in here perfect? Point them out. Nobody in here perfect. So why in the world are you worried about what they're thinking about you? That's how you lose sleep. That's how you lose sleep, thinking about what other people think about you. Think about how other people feel about you. Thinking about what other people are going to say when they see you because of what they think you've done. Even if what they think you've done is inaccurate. Like I heard this about her. Okay, well, it ain't true, so don't lose sleep over it. This is good conversation. I need this. Oh, well, I'm glad one person is benefiting, if not all. Thank y'all to those that are on. This is the Fly with Bev show. I'm slowly coming to an end with this. But I wanted to talk about friend versus enemy because sometimes we can narrow it down to other people. We can quickly see that someone is an enemy to us. We can quickly see that someone is a friend to us. But we also have to acknowledge the fact that we have that friend versus enemy in ourselves. We also are at war with ourselves. There are things that we do that we don't need to do. There are things that we eat that we don't need to eat. If every time I eat something and I don't feel good afterwards, why am I continuing to eat it? If I said I was going to go on a diet and I said I was not going to eat certain things, but yet when every time I turn around and I see this certain food, I'm over there indulging in it and just going off about it. Why am I doing that to myself if I know it's not going to make me feel good afterwards? I've been trying my best to eat better. I don't say I go on a diet because I'm too slim for that. I'm just going to be honest. I ain't got time for diets. That's like a cuss word in my life. But I do lifestyle changes with what I eat. And I eat a certain way. I try my best to not eat terrible. Um, whatever, Trent, because it's good. I'm not even going to say that word because I hate it. But it's like I try my best to eat well, and I can always tell when I'm not eating well. My body tells me, Bev, you're not used to eating like this. What's up? Like, why are you doing this to yourself? All right, sis, you take care. I'm working on that. I hear you, Ashley. Ain't no shade thrown, girl. I'm just being honest about it. Like that's just how it is. If I know that something that I'm eating is making me feel terrible, like I'm not even gonna lie, Popeye's chicken. Popeye's chicken wings, it has a caution. It has caution sodium intake, right? But I used to eat them chicken wings, and every time I ate them chicken wings, y'all, every time I had a headache. My head was hurting after I ate that chicken. You know why? Because I didn't have salt in my diet like that anymore. So to have that good seasoning on that chicken, it was good while I was eating it too. But afterwards, I'd be like, oh man, I got a headache. I shouldn't have ate that. Ashley, stop it. Tired of this stomach hanging out with me. You know what? I'm done with you. Thanks, Trent. So basically, it's like I had to tell myself no more. I can't eat that anymore. So if I find that things are making me feel bad after I eat them, I try my best to cut those things out of my diet because that's my way of showing myself that I care. Because if it was a friend, every time I turn around, if she eating something that she doesn't need to be eating, and she's telling me how she's feeling bad and terrible, I'm like, well, why you keep eating it then? You know how you be fussing your friends out if they ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. If they're being negative about a situation, you fuss your friends out. Well, you may not fuss them out, but you talk to them about it. You're like, look, why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? Why do you feel like that? Like, come on, let's figure out how we can do better. Yes, brother Andre, a kale smoothie. Now, I don't really know about all that. You said, oh, yes, Popeye's my number one headache. Exactly. That's how it is. We love it. Chicken. But at the same time, it's like, think about it. What you would do for a friend, you need to do for yourself. And if you cannot do that for a friend, or if you're doing that for a friend and you cannot do it for yourself, then you actually really do need to check how you treat yourself. Don't be an enemy to yourself. Be loving and caring and kind towards yourself. Remind yourself that you're important. Everything that you would tell someone that's feeling down, everything you would tell someone that's not eating right, everything that you would tell someone that's not taking a bath, everything you would tell someone else to do that you know would benefit them, you need to make sure you're telling yourself the exact same thing every single day. Don't put it off on somebody else. Don't say that's my enemy when what you're doing is really harming yourself. There's self-harm. And I'm not talking about trying to kill yourself, but think about it. If you're not thinking right, if you're not doing those things you should be doing for yourself, then technically you are in some form killing yourself, whether you're killing your spirit, whether you're killing your joy, whether you're killing your smile, whether you're killing your energy, something you're doing, something we're saying, something we're feeling, something we're eating can mess us up just as worse as someone taking their own life. The only difference is you have time to fix it because you're still living. That person that took their life physically, they can't live anymore. But you have time to stop killing yourself. You have time to stop being an enemy to yourself. You have time to love yourself even more than you did yesterday by taking time for yourself, thinking positive, doing everything that you would do for a friend. You got to do it for yourself. You can't be a hypocrite. You can't tell your friend all the right things to do, and then you look in the mirror and you're not doing the right things for yourself. That's not being truly what you need for you. You can't depend on your friend to be there for you if you're not even being there for yourself. You can't depend on no one else to lift you up and to encourage you all the time. If you won't even take 5 seconds when you look in the mirror and say, I'm a wonderful person. I make mistakes just like everybody else, but I deserve to be loved by myself first and foremost so that I can love other people the right way. So that's just my spiel for today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you're watching this on the playback, thank you for watching it. You're watching it live. Thank you for watching it. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart that I love you all. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your time this morning. I know it's been like 40 something minutes, so we're going to slowly come to a close. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Fly with Bev. If you're on my YouTube channel and you're not on my Facebook and you have Facebook, then my name is Bev Harris on Facebook. I do have Instagram, Butterfly Bev 31. So I'm on there as well. And I just want to do my closing song, you guys, because it is my closing song now. So Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Thank y'all for listening. I love y'all so much. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye.